right. Welcome back, everybody, finally, to another episode of Now Tesla 5 Full Self-Driving. You guys, it is time. V14 on my Cybertruck. I have been watching everybody's videos on other hardware for cars and obviously watching Chuck's videos and, on the Cybertruck, and I've just been gushing over all the good things I've been hearing. I have high expectations for what's going on today. We have the Start Self-Driving button for the first time in the Cybertruck right now. I've got my destination set. We're headed to Pybus Market for our first Pybus challenge. Looks like we'll be good to go. I've got my route. I shouldn't need to interfere at all. We're going to have our parking destination set. Let's get going and we'll talk about what's new and how's it feeling. And right away, if you saw my last video on FSD 13 that I was anticipating 14, it couldn't even pull off from the side of the road. To start, it was like, yeah. So I'll put that up here in case you want a good comparison. I'll be doing this exact same drive from V13 now on V14, and we'll see what we've got. So, also the other thing I noticed too, this has been an issue in the Cybertruck for maybe just shortly after I got an update, but it instantly went into the full screen mode, which is good, which I manually had to do before. So we're in a hurry. I'm going to go ahead and change it to standard for now, and then we've got parking lot set for our destination. We've now got our speed profiles, which is pretty sweet. I've heard it's a mixed bag, and basically sloth is the one that you want if you want to stay the speed limit. We're going to have actually a pretty challenging morning here, I think, because I usually don't get out this early for FSD. But this is a busy left turn. We've got folks coming in this way to the left. We might be here a while now that I'm thinking about it, because it's a school day. Good, kind of slow creeping there. I like that behavior. So even though it was at the line, it does need to move out. Oh, I thought it was going to go for it, which it totally could have. That would have been an acceptable use of a left turn. So, and it's raining, so we've got some challenges here. It's still early morning. It's dark out. It's raining. We've got all these left turns coming now. We should be good to go after this white car. But that's okay. So not so aggressive on that left turn. We could have gone there, but I would have taken it with how busy it is. Hopefully we can go after this truck. Yes. Okay, good. So there is like a little merge lane here, which we could have taken advantage of, but hey, we'll see. And that was obviously completely safe. And it waited its turn, and like I said, even a meat brain would have gone a little bit sooner, but it still did a good job. Okay, and we had a yield there, nothing to yield to, but again, slight slowdown around there, but that was good. Again, I'll take it. So we've got poor weather detection notice here. So again, with the rain, it's going to give FSD that notification. So we've got the speed profiles. Now Cybertruck will have the ability to pull into a parking spot at the destination, which is going to be perfect for my test, because one of the things I've always done for this test is we get to the Pybus Market, which is kind of an outdoor market. If you've ever been to Pike Place Market, obviously nowhere near as like spectacular, but that's kind of the feeling. It's a good destination if you've never been on one of my drives before. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to put some chapter links down here below, and of course, like, subscribe, comment, ask questions. Hopefully this is going to go out to everybody. I've only heard, again, good things, but this version has only been out for less than 24 hours, so I got really lucky to get into it was actually a second wave. There's a small initial release, and then this went a little bit wider late last night. So again, my name is Sean. Thanks for coming along. I've been doing FSD videos now in my Model Y Performance and now my Cybertruck for 4 years. I got into the full self-driving program in October 2021, shortly after acquiring my Model Y Performance, which is a Hardware 3 vehicle. So I've been with Hardware 3, and Cybertruck is my first Hardware 4, which has also unfortunately been treated as a second-class citizen as far as FSD 14 goes. But I understand we've got a little bit less data from the fleet, so hoping to contribute some of that today. I'm going to be going out and outside of my first test loop. We're going to go around town. I've got a little bit before I have to get into work this morning, so I'm really excited for that. All right, so up here we've got a yield to roundabout traffic that is going to be coming onto a highway. This can be hit or miss as far as it's challenging, obviously depending on the amount of traffic and which direction they're going to go. We're going to get a gimme this morning. But that is one I want to test because I really need to stop about right here for a yield, maybe a little even further back. And that's a head cranker all the way back this way for meat brains. And for the cameras, I'm really hoping I get some good footage of how that performs. Oh, slight a bit of lane. Oh, looks like it was going to get in the left lane and then decided not to. So, again, nothing unsafe, but just a slight amount of indecision there. 13 on this route has been good, and again, I have that, just the previous video took just about maybe a month ago now. I was anticipating maybe they'd roll out 14 a little bit sooner than they did, but really some weird, strange scenarios. I really actually recommend you checking it out because I intended to fully show off how good 13 was and ended up having some challenges, which is just so odd since it's been good enough. Okay, some indecision there. We totally can go. And it waited for the green light. I didn't have anybody behind me. I think that kind of acceleration and then decision to stop would have maybe confused somebody else. But luckily I didn't have anybody behind me. And here's issue with the rear view camera, especially on a wet day like today. It's pretty much useless. And when it's basically your only method of seeing what's behind you, yeah, so that's kind of one of my biggest complaints about the Cybertruck. And you know, my Model 3 or Model Y wasn't immune from that either. It gets dirty back there. You know, we've got a front washer for the front camera, which everybody says at this point the front camera isn't being used for FSD. Chris has done some fantastic videos on that, Dirty Tesla, and seems to have proven that it doesn't really take into consideration the front camera at all. It has a washer though. It sure would have been nice if the rear had a washer, even if it did end up with us getting a little bit of you know, washer dribbled down the back. I'd rather have a clear lens and wipe that off though once in a while that I need it. But maybe that wouldn't have helped too much. I don't know. You know, I trust Tesla engineers are smarter than I am. Also, will be interesting to see if we get some alleviation from the dry wipes from the wiper. Obviously, right now, the wiper can go ham. But those dry wipes, they kill me. And you Cybertruck owners know. Alright, we are coming up to the Pybus challenge. I have been, again, testing this since, gosh, I started putting together this loop. And essentially the Pybus challenge is this. We are heading down Arrondo Street now. It is 2 lanes, single direction. and we have to move over into this lane near immediately, which it did. Or we can do it in the next block. That's fine if there's traffic, but we need to be in this lane in order to... Whoa, stopping at a green light. That's, that wasn't too bad, but, I mean, it's a green light. So we, you know, I felt it. It was a thing. And then the Pybus challenge usually would get in that right-hand lane and either want to go straight and would not take its right turn appropriately. But we're in the correct lane. We're going through. And the next part of the challenge, which if you saw my last video, you should go check it out. We came to this railroad crossing while a train was coming down. The arm was coming down. Watch the video to find out how it handles it. All right, we are at the market now. We now need to actually get into the market, and then we need to park, right? So that's, is it gonna go? Okay, so 4-way stop, good, a little bit hesitant. Oh, so it took a left here at the street instead of going into the lot. And if we take a look at the lot, the map, it's rerouting us. So we totally could have just gone in straight, and I'm not sure why that was the case. But looks like we'll still get into the lot here. So good recovery from FSD. And let's see where it chooses to park. Clearly, it's now showing us in the lot. Plenty of choosing. I mean, it's early. Nobody else is here. I'll have to come back during the day, of course, and figure out. And it's going to do just the worst job unless it decides to back in. Let's see what it does. This is very much crooked. Don't park. Okay, so it is going to fix itself. Good for you. I was pretty worried. Although it's in a pretty bad... Oh no! This is in the middle of the road! Oh my goodness. Alright, well, we've got our end destination plugged in. We've parked. Luckily, there's nobody here to be irritated. Maybe it would have done better with somebody here so it knew where to park. But let's see how it gets out of this situation. So we've got to back out. Good. And that's a new thing, going in reverse in the Cybertruck. That's a first, automatically, aside from obviously self-parking, or auto park rather. That's the first time it's auto shifted for me. Pretty crazy. And especially right from a drive. So far, no interventions. I haven't done anything. Again, hesitancy, a 4-way stop, which I have already heard this morning. Saw Mike, I forget his handle, but whoa. All right, so it was really scared of those lights and the railroad track. Again, luckily nobody behind me, but some very, very careful hesitancy across those tracks and those lights. This is a bit far back from a 4-way stop. A little bit of stutter step going through the intersection. And all right, so I'm wondering if it's kind of like the time of the day and the glare. We're putting it through some challenges here. And it's going to get over to the left. All right, so yeah, so this is again, nothing unsafe. I'm clear all around me, so it's totally fine for it to kind of be a little bit indecisive. It is interesting to find out where it's getting confused. Or if it's getting confused, again, maybe it's just, I don't know. So in a little bit different way than we normally go, although this will be good to test actually, because this next left up here that we need to make, oh, why did we stop there? That's really odd. It's like a stutter start where we clearly had a green light and it should have just smoothly proceeded through the intersection. That's no bueno. I hope it's a matter of kind of the wet streets and it's just kind of being a little unsure of the time of day and that sort of thing. Hopefully that green light stuttering is not a thing that we'll see often. So I'll have to make a left turn here, wait for the traffic, and then the first lane we get into is a left turn only lane. And this is actually another problem I've had in town, not recognizing that it needs to get out of this lane in enough time. What I have noticed it will do, and it's just going to turn to the second lane. So a bit of a cheat step there, but I'll take it because that's more ideal. But if we see here on the left, that's a left turn only lane. And what we'll do is actually start to turn left now. So if the lane is clear, it will actually just kind of merge starting into the intersection, which is way too late. Sometimes we'll see it actually get into this middle lane pretty early, and then it's smooth sailing. But if for some reason, again, it chooses that first lane and then never moves over and stays in there, I've really noticed if it decides to be in that lane, it will wait until it's through or just before the intersection to merge over to the left or take a, put its left blinker on, go to the left. Here's another thing I see here is sometimes the left blinker will be on, or the right blinker actually, to go right. So good, cleared out here. We don't, hopefully again that's not a one-off thing, but sometimes those curves around can cause the turn signal to go on unnecessarily. Very good. Again, intervention free. I have not touched the brakes. I have not touched the accelerator. I have not taken over from the wheel, and we went to our destination. Parked terribly with no other cars around, luckily. But, that was really bad. That said, I was able to hit start and go to my next destination without having to do anything else. Okay, so this is indeed the lane we want to be in. And it's putting on its turn signal a little bit early. Yeah, so through the intersection. So that I bet you is going to be one of my complaints going forward for 14 is turning on that turn signal much too early. But we'll see. I mean, everybody says 14 is sentient, so, or showing signs of it rather, so we'll see if we get some actual drive to drive differentiation and see if its little neural net brain can make some good decisions. Alright, so the next challenge on this route has been this bridge. It's a cloverleaf here exit, and we can go we want to be in this lane because it allows us to either keep going kind of right and then straight, but we actually need to stay on the inside lane of that option so we can take the clover leaf. If FSD follows a vehicle that goes the wrong direction, it sets us off course. Again, check out my last video. But it should hug this middle lane and hug the right. Good. Perfect. All right. So getting a little bit of coal roll here from this gentleman in front of us. Go ahead, waste your gas. I plugged in this morning and got a full charge and then woke up to a software update which made my car immeasurably better. When was the last time your car got better overnight? All right, so there's a brief soapbox. Buy Tesla, use my link below, get free 3 months of FSD 14, most likely. By the time if you have not gotten a Tesla now, and you use my link, you're going to get 3 months, and while you might have to wait when you first take delivery of your Tesla to get 14, I don't know that we've seen any factory builds yet come out of the factory with 14. They're usually coming out with 14 now, but we're getting close. So by the time your free 3 months are done, you will be on 14, and you will see the glory, especially Cybertruck. All right, so good stop here. I have had times where it will just roll through this right lane. Good, even getting into this middle lane because it does merge up here. So we can be in the right lane, but kind of a thing around town is you're an asshole if you get in the right lane and go straight because you need to merge with the traffic that's already in this lane. So your options are to blow through it, and a little bit of hesitancy through that intersection. Not a fan of that. That's easily fixed, for sure. And I will not complain because we're already way far and above the performance of 13. This is going to be my first, hopefully, my first flawless drive since a very long time. I think I've only had maybe a couple on this route, and those were in my Model Y on hardware 3 on version 12. And I think those were also a bit of luck, if I'm being honest. Hard to replicate that for sure. But this will be the first time, and I'm gonna test this again. We're gonna do it a couple of times today, and see if we get the same results. So good stuff so far. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon, because that does happen. But good and smooth again from some of those strange... I never experienced the brake stabbings that were talked about. I don't know if I necessarily describe it as that. Maybe. But the intersection, especially after a green light, that's weird. And really, the rest of this drive is very, very much a gimme. Pretty incredible performance. So, as I said, this is going to be the first flawless drive, completely intervention-free, me not touching anything since, again, hardware 3 version 12 something. I'd have to go back and look. You guys, if you find it in my video history, feel free to comment that below which one it is. There's at least one in there I know of, but not one on the Cybertruck until today. V14 nails it, which was my expectation, and FSD does not disappoint. So we're gonna get driveway. No, we're not going in somebody's driveway, so that's on me for not setting the destination. It did want to turn to that guy's driveway, which is pretty funny. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, really fantastic performance on 14. And you know what I'm going to do as a bonus for you guys? I'm going to set another destination here. Let's see here. I'm just going to drop a pin in here. This is a... person's like, what is the Cybertruck doing in my driveway where we don't do anything? All right, so I'm gonna come up here. Come up here. All right, so as a bonus, we're coming up. We're gonna do this. That way. All right. So I've got maybe some trash cans off to the right, and we're in standard, street park, curbside. And we're kind of doing that the old school. It doesn't know what to do. So occupancy network is indeed showing the items in front of us, but it's not doing anything. So we do need to make a U-turn at this cul-de-sac. Okay, so since I'm not sitting here, I will go ahead and give it some acceleration. Okay. And moves through. So we should be able to do this cul-de-sac no problem at all, especially with the four-wheel steering. Look at that. Give me another truck that's be able to make a cul-de-sac in that tight of turn. Tell me. I want to see it. All right, so that'll do it for this video. I'm going to keep filming, and I'll probably put together some highlights of all the different things that I do today. But there's Test Loop 1 for you. Just fantastic performance. So good. I'll be doing protected left turn, unprotected left turns, and testing roundabouts and that sort of thing. I'll be checking out those left turn only lanes for sure. And yeah, be on the lookout for highlights, and please follow me on X. That's where I spend most of my time. I post additional content there. So if you're not following me on X, that's where you'll find me, at Now Testify. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. We'll see you in the next video. Now Testify.